Welcome back, everybody. Liquid Sundays. This is Morpheus. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I'm going to take a look at our July prep. We'll take a look at month down, top down analysis. We've got some keynotes in front of us here. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, so please do your own research. With that out of the way, let's jump right in. All right, last week ending July 3rd. So the Dow 52,900 record high, plus 2% on the weekly. S&P 500 7483, plus 1.8%. NASDAQ 25,832. We got a boost from soft June jobs, plus 57K, eased rate hike fears. So soft jobs correlates to easing rate hike fears, if that makes sense. Key economic events. So Monday, July 6th, 9:45 a.m., we have S&P Services PMI. 10 a.m. ISM Services PMI. June previous 54.5. So this is a high impact event. Tuesday, July 7th, 8:30 a.m. Trade balance for May. Wednesday, July 8th, we have 10 a.m. wholesale inventories, and then 2 p.m. FOMC June minutes, 3 p.m. consumer credit. Thursday, July 9th, we have 8:30 a.m. jobless claims, 10 a.m. existing home sales for June, and Friday, July 10th is kind of quiet. We have a light earnings week, so nothing of super importance. Thursday, July 9th, pre-market Pepsi, EPS estimate 220. Friday, July 10th, we have Delta Airlines and others, notables, Pang, Levi, some smaller names. What to watch? Services PMI and FOMC minutes, signals on economy and strength, and FedPath. Those are kind of the highlights. Labor data, claims and home sales, cooling or resilient. Post-holiday flows plus data reactions likely drive volatility. And some quick tips, just check futures Monday pre-market like we always do. Focus on Wednesday afternoon, the Fed minutes, and Monday ISM, of course. Data-dependent tone for rates and direction. All right, let's clean up our chart here. We'll jump right into some fib levels. So I have SPX cash session. We usually start with our monthly. Here we are, monthly. This is our June candle here. You can call that not really a hanging man because it's not really up here by itself, but if it was, it would be a hanging man. But really, it's still kind of inside of May's monthly candle. That's where we're starting out. So I'll just take my fib tool here and we'll just snap from our top to our bottom. Pretty close. Thereabouts. The low for June is 72.37. So we'll just try to get pretty close here on that. All right. So we'll call our monthly pivot for June 74.29. You can call it 74.30 if you'd like. And then obviously we're inside that little golden pocket right now. It's still early in the month, but the 618, we got 74.74 up to 75.39. So we're right in that zone right here. So we'll see if the 618 acts as support to start off the month or not. And obviously 786 as resistance. If we take a closer look here on the weekly chart, we'll take our previous week. You can see it's almost, we're inside of obviously May's candle there, but the low of last week, 73.48. So we'll call that weekly support, and weekly resistance is going to be If we take a look at the candle there, we have a high of 75.40. So we'll just do that there. All right, so our weekly pivot will be 74.44. Obviously, resistance 75.40 and support 73.48. And then we'll take a look, step closer. We'll look at Thursday's candle here. Zoom in a little bit on that. And the low for Thursday's candle is 74.27. Try to get pretty close. There we go. And the high for Thursday's candle is 75.40. So we'll do something like this. All right. So as we get a little closer look here, we've got 50% of Friday's candle is 74. We'll call it 84. And 618 pocket here, 74.97 to 75.16. You can see futures opening up right here, 75.10 right now. So we're right below the 786 level here. 786 is a good level to reverse off of, but of course, if we hold the 618, it's a good level to go long. So this is the kind of the area we're going to focus on. This is a very tight range. I don't know if we'll stay within this range before tomorrow's open. But technically, we are kind of still range bound. We were, you know, last week kind of trading in this range here. You kind of broke out here. We're still within the, mid June range here. So breaking out, obviously, above Thursday's high, 75.40, 76.10. We're going to be testing all-time highs. And if we break down below, we'll swoop right back up into this range here. And I'll just give you the extension on that real quick here. To the downside, 73.57 would be the daily kind of breakdown extension here. So these are the kind of key levels that I'll be looking at heading into tomorrow. We'll look for 74.84 to be our support level. 50%. Should we break down, then we can go down to obviously the Thursday support level down here. But if we hold 50% here, I'm looking at basically trade between here and here until we get a catalyst, some type of move. Something that's pretty relevant right now is the rotation. We've been talking about rotation for a while. You can clearly see I was watching specifically SMH for breakdown of this trend line here. Definitely, obviously, parabolic run first half of the year makes sense. Some cooling, so kind of breaking down this trend line here that goes back. Basically parabolic move off of these May lows here. You can kind of see here. This was like the little flag, daily flag that we broke out from here back April. And then we just, rallied up and kept kind of bouncing off of this trend line here. So a lot of popular names, obviously heavily weighted in the semiconductor space here, have been kind of driving the gains. On the other side of things, if we look at the mags, or we've been been calling the lags lately, we finally are getting some positive, divergence versus the market now. So we were kind of trending down here, and now we're starting to push back up. I think you're going to basically see rotation out of the memory names and semis, maybe back into some of the more popular Mag 7 names. You can take a look at, your favorite mags. You can look at Amazon. Clearly, the chart is similar. Just looking at some daily charts here, breaking this downtrend here, kind of relevant. Maybe you got some type of little inverse head and shoulders here. And then you just kind of take the neckline here. So here's Amazon. We can kind of keep an eye on Amazon and obviously Google. Another name here. Similar look, right? Take our trend line here. Starting to break out. Maybe from this downtrend here all the way back from May. Obviously, Apple has been showing relative strength versus the market here. This is ridiculous. Super, super bullish daily candle here, weekly candle here. Obviously, Apple heavily weighted. Nvidia. That's not the one I wanted. We still got this downtrend here, but some relevant exponential moving averages. I'll just show you this real quick. This is important here. We can look at the simple moving average here. All right, so this is our 9-day, but you can look at a couple different averages here. You can look at the 5-day, or you can look at, if you're looking at like the 200-day. Key support here, right? This is one of the biggest market caps in the world here, not the biggest. You can see here key support on Nvidia here. You can see it's kind of building some type of triangle here. So here's your 200-day simple moving average acting as support. This is probably going to be a good area to focus on. Maybe pouring some capital back into this from our memory stocks here. Some other names that are notable, obviously, I think Netflix looks pretty good now. Netflix is far away from the 200, but it looks like it is trying to kind of come back up and retest these levels here. This has been absolutely kind of hammered here. You can see what happened. We lost the 200 here. We rejected it here. There's a gap here. If you look at the weekly, which is kind of more relevant here, this is why I bring it up. I talked about Microsoft and the well-known Charlie Munger quote. If all you ever did was buy quality stocks at the 200-day weekly moving average, you'd probably be okay. So here's Netflix bouncing off that level here. That brings me to Microsoft. Microsoft recovered. We did mention some trade ideas last week, a couple weeks ago. Microsoft, good area here from a technical standpoint here. Might be a double or even a triple bottom. You got 1, 2, 3, recovering the um, 200-day weekly chart there. And what else? We also talked about, just give you some other names to kind of focus on here. Palantir was another one. Holding support here, looking pretty good. Got a nice little trend here. Looks like it's respecting this lower trend line here. So another good name to kind of focus on. Yeah, so those are kind of the um, key stocks I'd kind of watch and kind of look out for in the coming days and weeks. And there's still going to be some headwinds just because of seasonality, midterm election year, etc. If I go into some statistics from Stock Traders Almanac here, I'll go into some of that stuff in a few. But let's look at the Qs real quick. Before we do that, we'll just look at QQQ. Let me get rid of some of these drawings here. So obviously we're still, very range bound. Obviously going back to June here, going all the way back to May, and a lot of this rotation is going to be noticeable in the Qs here. So big, lots of selling and lots of those semis and memory names here. Kind of showing up in the QQQ chart. But key support for QQQ, NASDAQ 100. I noted this 704 level here. We actually hit a low of 702.81 if you want to get real technical on it here. But this is going to be a key level of support on the Qs. And then below that, you can see here we got 686. I don't know that we're going to break down below these levels anytime soon here. Been talking about this triangle pattern. So you kind of got upper trend line here, lower trend line here. And we might kind of just bounce around in here for a little bit until we kind of break out from one of these areas. So I don't know that the market is going to move a whole lot until we break down or break out above these levels here on the QQQ. But these are the kind of key levels to watch here. So I'm looking at 702. 702.81 now is support in the Qs here, and resistance is going to be 736.40. I'm sorry, 737.62 was the high. We had a little wick here on that up here back on Tuesday the 30th. So these are our key levels for the QQQ. And that's really kind of what I'm going to be watching heading into this week to see if we kind of break down, because this is going to be kind of a tell as far as what direction we're going to head into, for our summer. So yeah, so that's basically our big kind of overall picture and kind of what I'm looking at. If there's anything, any charts or anything anyone wants to look at, we can do that. We can look at, we can do some chart reviews if you'd like also for Thursday's action or last week. If anyone wants me to do some trade reviews, I can do that. But I'm going to wrap up the YouTube video here. So appreciate you tuning in.